Today, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the updated best Sage walls for ASCENT. The reason that I'm making an updated video is because since I made my previous best Sage walls videos, there have been numerous changes to Sage's wall, and because of that, some walls just aren't as practical, while other walls are actually more useful for things like executes. So first off here for attacking a site, this is a great wall for executing A and giving your team cover to push onto the site from A main. All you want to do is pull out your wall, rotate it once, and you can place your wall like this, the exit of A main to give your team cover to push onto site. This corner right here and tree room are both super common spots that people will be playing. So with this wall, your team only has to worry about clearing these angles and then site. So if you have a site control and you haven't had to use your wall yet, you can run over to the door, close it, and then place your wall in front of the door. Sage's wall and the door have about the same amount of health, so this is like 2 Sage walls the enemy will have to shoot through if they want to come through tree room. So if you manage to fully execute and clear site, you can walk to about the middle of the generator here, pull out your wall, rotate it once, and place the wall in heaven like this, or a one-way if you're sitting on top of these boxes. This also closes off heaven, so they either have to wait the wall out or break it to get through. Because of the range nerf to Sage's wall, this one isn't as practical, so I find myself mainly using my wall on A side either executing out of A main or by blocking off the tree room door. So another great wall spot if you're doing an A split, what you can do is pull out your wall and rotate it to block off the view from garden. So if you and your teammates hug the wall like this, nobody from garden will have a view as you push towards site. Something to keep in mind though is that the person playing in glass here can see you if you don't hug the wall though. So now for attacking mid, if you are pushing up from mid link on the B side, you can place a wall under your feet like this, next to the gate right here in courtyard, and use this box right here as a headshot boost to peek into pizza, the back of mid. You can jump on top of the wall and clear these close angles as well. You can also use the front of this wall like this as a peek towards cubby. This wall is pretty situational though, as you can tell, because if you spend too long sitting up here on top of this box, you are very exposed to mid cubby. So it's best to have already killed the mid cubby player or have it completely smoked off if you are using the wall like this. So if you're pushing up mid from Catwalk and you manage to kill the mid cubby player, what you can do is place a wall under your feet at the top of Catwalk here, right on the railing just like this, and use it as a boost to peek market. This is a really aggressive way to use Sage's wall here that not a lot of people will expect, especially someone who might be playing in market. So if you manage to push up mid, get control here in pizza and market, you can pull out your wall and place it right here to close this hallway off. That way, if you want to execute B through mid, you don't have to worry about anyone shooting you from the defender spawn. So now for walls that are good for attacking B site. The first one, of course, is going to be this boost here in B lobby, and all you want to do is have a teammate boost you from on top of these boxes to get on top of here, just like this, and then you can place a wall under your feet, and you can peek Catwalk. You can place this wall before the round starts and hold an angle like this with an op to peek anyone from the defender's team who might swing out into cubby and peek mid. Alternatively, you can just boost someone that can get up there on their own, such as an Omen, a Raze, or a Jet. You can place a wall like this under their feet. So now for B lobby, we have the boost right here on top of the alt orb. Just place a wall right under your feet like this, and you have a great peek to see site, back site, and you can stand on the edge here and peek market and this cubby as well. The only downside of this spot is that a lot of people know about it now, but if you're only using it every so often in a game, then it can still catch the enemies off guard. So for the next wall, you have to cross into this corner here in B main, and you can do that by having a teammate smoke B main right here. So if you're in the corner right here, you can pull out your wall, rotate it once, and then rotate it even more to close the gap between the wall on your right and the boathouse wall, just like this. Place the wall, and you and your team now have a protected exit out of B main to start clearing site. This gives you protection from anyone playing in market right here, anyone in cubby, anyone playing stairs right here, and anyone playing in boathouse. So another great attacking wall is right here. You just place the wall under your feet like this, and you can use this wall as cover to peek onto B site. So this wall over here to block the defender spawn is still pretty good, but it is far less practical than it used to be because of how close you need to be to defender spawn. So this wall is a lot riskier than it used to be, which is why I recommend one of the other walls for attacking B. So if you're executing B through mid here, another wall that you can place is like this. And basically this gives your team cover. If they drop off a platform here, they don't have to worry about anyone peeking them from the defender spawn. This wall gives your team good protection to push down the right side of site. So moving on to defending A site. Of course, first up we have the basic wall right at A main here. This one allows you to boost on top of these boxes as well, which is a really good spot to play, while also covering A main. So for back site here, this is a single purpose wall, but it's still pretty useful, especially in the event of a rush and you aren't at the front of site, or you just want to change up your position. You can place a wall under your feet behind the generator like this and use the generator here as a headshot angle to peek A main. And if you place your wall like how I did, then you will see the enemies before they can see your wall. So they won't be expecting you to be peeking from above the generator. Another single purpose wall and headshot angle you can use is on the left side of site here. Same idea as the generator. You can put a wall behind this box and use it to crouch and peek tree room, or you can stand and peek into A main. Single purpose walls like this are always super situational, so knowing when you want to use a wall like this and when it would be effective is something you have to learn yourself by just playing Sage more. Another wall spot here that is probably the most situational out of all these walls is right here behind this wall at A heaven. You place it under your feet like this and use it as a jump spot to check A main. You can check the corner here, you can check the corner of site, you can see a little bit of the right side of the generator. You can also use it as a peek if you want to peek these angles down here, which are all positions that enemies would be playing in post-plant situations. So pretty situational wall, but could be useful for getting information in a retake scenario. So another wall that you can place in garden here, if for example you're playing in Catwalk, you need to give it up, you run back to garden, you can place a wall in the corner just like this and create a one-way to peek into tree room. You'll be able to see anyone that is crossing through tree, and you can safely take shots at them. From the enemy's perspective, they can't see you unless they crouch walk under the wall like this. So now for mid here, if you're playing right next to the gate like this, you can just place a wall under your feet to block off gate completely, just like this. And you can also use this as a jump spot if you want to peek Catwalk and mid, and the mid link right here. Another wall you can place from this corner right here next to the archway. You can pull out your wall, rotate it once, and place it so it's on top of the trash can just like this. You just want to be aiming at the trash can while you pull out your wall and rotate it. And it'll give you a pretty good headshot angle to peek Catwalk and mid link. And the reason that you place it on the trash can right here and not the wall right here is because this wall will be boosting you way too high, so you won't be able to use this stone wall as cover. Otherwise, for defending mid, you can do something basic like this. The enemies are pushing up mid. And you can also use this as a boost if you want to get on top of the wall by standing on these pizza boxes and crouch jumping onto the wall. This is definitely a risky, aggressive play, but because it's so aggressive, it might catch the enemies off guard. But even if you're not using it as a boost, it's still a pretty good wall in general to just slow down the mid push. So finally, the last wall for mid here, it can be useful if you are rotating to the other site. You know the enemies are trying to take mid control, and what you can do is place a wall like this just back here behind the wall in back of mid, and you can use it as a boost to peek into mid. This is an angle that not a lot of players will expect. This boost is good, especially if you are rotating from one site to the other and you know the enemies are in mid. This can definitely catch some people off guard. So for B side here, there's not really anything too crazy that you can do. Obviously, you can play from back here and place a wall like this to block any pushes out of B main. But the other wall that I really like is from behind this wall right here, and you can just place a wall under your feet like this. and it will close off this hallway while also giving you a boost to peek B main. I'm a big fan of this wall because it redirects the enemies to the other side of site or forces them to shoot the wall while you get free shots on anyone leaving B main. So that is all for my Ascent Sage Walls video. If you guys want to see more Valorant videos and guides like this, then I would greatly appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button.